I have like no proper way to like introduce this or start this, but like it's a new school year. It's been a hectic year since everything has started with like COVID, and I mean for me other things as well, personal things happening in life. But here is a more updated life at SOU, starting now my senior year and hopefully getting my capstone done and graduating. First off, I probably want to say like life is just really tough right now. Like I probably could say this whole year for no matter and whoever you are, like be you in school, like elementary school, high school, or if you're in college, or if even you're just an adult, and you're just working and not doing school at all. It's been pretty hard. Like, for me, I guess why it's been hard is stuff, for example, I think everyone can. But for me, it started in March of this year of COVID. Like, I was super happy because for spring term, it was make finals after finals were like canceled. It made it super easy so then I could just work, or like then the stress of having to do that final, or possibly like what the final grade could do to my, with the final, like just what would do to my overall grade and GPA. There was that stress for me personally, but then it was gone. It wasn't happening. And like there just became a little bit more stress after that. Like, oh, it's spring break. I'm super happy because I'm going home and I was gonna be able to celebrate my 21st birthday soon. But it became kind of like, no nice way, but this a shit show. Sadly, because of COVID, my landlady at the time decided to not allow me to move in unless I quarantined myself with her. And to move back in at that point, like, was to continue working because my job at home during spring break was closed. They decided to close the facility over there. But the facility over here, YMCA wise, decided to stay open to allow us to do like cleaning and maintenance thing in the lifeguard area, pool area, which I thought was really cool because that would allow us to get some money still. But then I couldn't at all. And I couldn't work then, and there was no time, and it was really hard to look for places, right, because of COVID originally. So I had to pack up, move everything, which packing up was also a problem though. It was also a problem though because my landlady wanted me to pack by myself. And basically when you go to school though, you are bringing like half your life over or more, depending on like how far you live away from home, and all the stuff you needed for school, clothes, like daily life, which I'm sad because I still left stuff over there and I can't get it back now. Like there was an argument of like allowing me to bring my dad with me to be able to pack everything up. And like we had to wear masks and gloves, which is understandable. But it was also just frustrating that like I couldn't just be in my area of the house, of the room I was renting, to just be able to pack everything up. She wanted to be able to pack everything else herself and put it in the garage, which I don't agree because that's my stuff. And unless like she was kicking me out and such, and it was not COVID, it would be understandable though. Like if I wasn't paying rent on time or something. So there was that whole hoopla. I wasn't able to start working basically until June again. And then there was also the whole problem of just being home, online classes. Sadly, there was some personal matters that happened, like my birthday wasn't the greatest. I went through some stuff. I ended up having to do some self-loving and growth. Sorry, that's Rue in the background if you hear him talking. And it was just super hardcore. I think online classes could never be so hard. Like, I did like the classes I had. I had basically 2 classes. One was worth 12 credits, which I was super happy about because that was supposed to be the crew experience class. And if it was in person, we would have been able to do on-hands things, making a movie from start to beginning. And we were even able to raise a bunch of money. I think it was around $7,000 or something. But sadly, it couldn't take place due to COVID. And a lot of people ended up going home because of COVID instead of staying on campus. But it was still amazing. We got to do Zoom calls with people that I can't remember all their names. I'll try and look, but like we got to meet someone who's worked on Marvel, like the set decorating, someone who's worked on the movie Phoenix, Oregon, some people who do stuff for Disney. There was also a indie company in Washington we got to talk to, someone who's done music videos with Rihanna in LA, and like saying, hey, you got our contact info. But that was cool. I think the worst part of the term for spring term was basically having to do it all online, because with my learning, online is really hard and I can get distracted super easily compared to if I was sitting in the class in person, where in person I feel like an ass for going on my phone. And online, sometimes I don't want the computer on. I mean, the computer on. Yes, I have to have the computer on, the camera on, because I look like I just woke up, like I do right now. Like my hair is crazy. And that I feel like it's super weird then to show that to the rest of the class then. Or that like I'm doing more than one thing, like for example cooking food at the same time while listening to class. I feel like that's distracting as well. But probably the hardest, other than paying attention, was writing a paper. Like it's a paper like that's supposed to be going on like an idea of what you want to do for your capstone. So if you don't know what capstone is, it's like your senior project in college, if you have senior projects in high school. And yeah, that one was just super hard. One, finding the research for what I wanted to do in the film industry, because I like filming, I like editing. I know I need to practice a lot on it to even be semi-good as a lot of my other classmates. But I know something I'm personally good at is still directing, because I love theater to film. It's something really fun for me. I know I can set up a scene, because like that was something I loved to do on the crew experience class. We're just gonna interrupt Mama the whole time she's filming, huh? The scene to be like ready, like changing a whole area, changing up a whole area. Like that was something that I did for my final project, because Andrew made it so easy. Like it wasn't going to be a paper or anything of what for that class, but for the final, but something you felt could help with your future. and like one of my classmates ended up making a really cool painting, and she painted it with about firefighting because she wants to continue in the film industry, but she also knows like she has a side job already for possibilities like firefighting. And so for me, I ended up messing around with our deck at home. It's a deck that's been there since I was little, and I did. I ended up buying the paint for it to revamp it because that's the biggest thing. And then I decorated an area. Like, I can show the before and after photos, and it looks really good, honestly, to me. Because like something as simple as putting a new fresh coat of paint and like having certain colors help things stick out helps a lot. Other than that, the hardest part about it was writing the paper for my other class, which was hard because of trying to find resources that was for college, one. Second, I have only written 2 APA papers so far throughout my whole college experience. I'm starting to sound like an old witch. The first one wasn't even proper APA form for a science class like my sophomore year. And then this one that I had to do last spring term. This boy. It was super hard because other than the stuff going on in my personal life, I thought I wrote the paper really well, because normally I can write papers really well, or at least I would like to think so. Other than having like some problems with grammar, which I admit I am pretty bad at, as well as sometimes the sentence like reads right in my head, but then it doesn't on the paper, like at all. But it takes me a while to even notice that I'm damage. Like, I'm proud of being able to get good grades, but I'm not all there, I guess, if that makes sense. And so then I sadly did not pass that class at all, but then was still okay because I still had that other class that was worth 12 credits for spring term, and then basically had to rewrite that paper, and the professor was nice to let me redo it and turn it in, but I didn't do that much changes and I still got a B+ on it. So it was just really frustrating. And then there was the stress of trying to find somewhere to live here back in Ashland. I of course didn't want to go back to my landlady from before because of that whole situation, among other things. So I really struggled for a while until I met Katie, who is a main tenant of a housing townhouse here on campus. So then it became like all of a sudden I am now renting with a townhouse with Katie, and then I am Ashley too, so it's like me and 2 other people. We all have our own rooms. Of course, the main tenant has a bigger room. We're allowed to have pets here in the housing. We have a nice living room area. We have a kitchen. There's even like back patio area, and then storage for outside. And what I really like, because like we pay so much already for housing and other things for tuition, parking's free for us over here. Only down in housing though area. But it's really nice, and I plan to, in another video, end up doing a small tour of how I have things set up for stuff here. But yeah, that's kind of an update of like how life has been. This is just like a really short and sweet video kind of thing, just blurting it all out. Because like, other than COVID, sadly there's also been the fires. If you possibly haven't heard, I think it's impossible if you haven't heard really right now, but Oregon, Washington, and California like are all on fire, and there's just been very huge fires in Southern Oregon, for example. Like there was one in Collier State Park, which scared me kind of, because me and my family went there for whatever holiday that was, Labor Day. Yes, Labor Day. And then like we ended up going home, and an hour later there was a fire there all of a sudden. That's scary. There was I think it's still going on currently, and last time I saw it was something like 60% contained, the Alameda fire that started in Ashland and sadly went its way through Talent and Phoenix. And what I'm scared about is like if I was still living in Phoenix, or if I stayed there during the summer or anything, I would have been like scared to death, really, because even though my landlady's house didn't get affected or touched, I would have still had to evacuate, like just leave things there. And a lot of places, like my favorite thing down there, like Puck's Donut, is not even there anymore, sadly. And I know a lot of people have been sadly affected from fires like that. And there's another fire, like there's just a lot in Jackson County area in general. And because of that, the air quality isn't the greatest. So while I'm waiting to start working again here at the Ashland YMCA, I can't go out and do much. Like I've hung out a little bit with my boyfriend, but of course he works 8 hours. I'm doing some things around our apartment, like small tidying up, but otherwise I'm just hanging out with my chinchilla-roo and being home. But so far, I guess today at least the air quality got a bit better. Today it looks kind of better. We see some blue sky again this morning, but it might just be sitting because it's the valley. And there's supposed to be rain today, so hopefully there is. What else did I want to tell you guys? This little boy. He really wants to come out to play again, but he knows I am sleepy. Okay, well, like that's kind of like my small update I wanted to do, especially hearing some feedback on my video that was basically last year, school year already. Okay, Gesundheit. I will upload some more videos once the fall term starts, and I'll do another video later of how the townhouse apartment looks and just how I have things set up.